Good morning. I want to tell you a little story about my call to ministry. At first, I didn't want to go into the ministry because I wanted my life to be my own. And then once I realized that my life wasn't my own, I didn't want to go into the ministry because I was afraid. And the reason I was afraid is because I am a bit of a pill. And I'm stubborn, quite frankly. And sometimes I struggle with anger, as I've talked to you in the past. And I was actually afraid to be in ministry. So I went and talked to my grandma about this, who had been praying for me. And I said, Grandma, one of the reasons I'm afraid to go into ministry is because I'm so stubborn. And she said, and I wish I could say it with her Dutch accent, but I can't. But she said, Mark, stubbornness can be turned to righteousness and perseverance when you submit that to God. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that was an option. And I decided that if I could give that sort of will over to God, that He might be able to use it. Well, I got to confess that over the last 13 weeks, I've felt like quitting a few times in this process. This has been hard. And it has been a challenge. And this morning, I was reading in Ezekiel about what God was going to do for Ezekiel to help him in ministry. It's very interesting. He said, go to the house of Israel. But then he says in chapter 3, but the house of Israel will not be willing to listen to you, for they are not willing to listen to me. He said that their foreheads were hard and they had stubborn hearts. But then he said this, behold, I have made your face as hard as their faces, and your forehead as hard as their foreheads. In other words, he was saying to Ezekiel, I'm going to make you more stubborn than your enemies. Now, I know who my enemies are. Principalities and powers. And I know that I'm not stronger than the enemy. But I know that the grace of God is stronger than the enemy. And I want to be more stubborn than the enemy himself. Not quit, not give up, stay at it, submit yourselves to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So may God make all of us more stubborn than the enemy. I'll see you tomorrow.